I'm a very uptight person. Again, I've experienced a lot of like betrayal. I have this fear of letting people get to know me, and it's kind of like what happened like 2 days ago between me and Rooboy. Get why I understand that she doesn't like. Okay, it's okay. Avoiding that conversation. You know, type of man, my son is 34. You, and in short, man like you.
Hi, Papas. I bring you one of the most interesting gists to come out of the season. Please do well to listen to the last drop, okay? Do not miss anyone. Trust me, you will like this. If at the end you did not enjoy this gist, tell me in the comment section you did not. But if you did, tell me as well. So let's dive in. After the Aquafina task, Thelma moved into the room with Kaybobo, and she then told Kaybobo that she could have been surprised if someone talked about her during that task. Reasons being that she never opened up to anyone in this house. Anyways, let me not drop my own personal opinion yet. She then told Kaybobo that in fact, even outside of here, she barely opened up to people. That she had a betrayal. In fact, there is something someone did to her since 2015, and that is 10 years down the lane, and that have made her never to open up to people. And she has kept to that in this house. And can you imagine even the little gist she had with Rude Boy? What happened? That pattern repeated. Immediately, she had little arguments with Rude Boy. Rude Boy went off key, telling her, "Oh, you're bragging, blah blah blah." That what has she even talked about herself in this house? Is it just the dressing part, the looking good, that is making Rooboy to assume and beginning to, talk shit? That she takes her time when it comes to knowing people. That, for instance, can you imagine that she's beginning to know Joanna and Daddy, and this is happening in what? In week 7. She takes time to build friendship with people that, besides, good things take time to build. Now, this is where the gist become even more interesting. So, Kaybobo then asked Thelma what really happened with Rooboy, okay? And Thelma now said that Rooboy wanted to play a fast one on her, that Rooboy want to replicate that whole Lakon and Erika script on her. Thelma said earlier on in the show, when she was in talking terms with Rooboy, that she told Rooboy, let's talk about this show, let's analyze this game, that this is what she normally does with Ortega and Cola, that they talk about the game, strategies and all of that. And during their conversation, Rooboy then mentioned about her guys that have been on this show. And Kaybobo was like, is that Hermes? Thelma said, aside Hermes, that Rooboy told her that he worked for Lakon. He worked in Lakon's team, social media team. And that during that season, that one of the things they capitalized on was that whole narrative of Erika not liking Lakon due to Lakon's physique, background, outlook, and everything in general. That they capitalized on it. And that narrative sold, and you all know Lakon won that season, right? Okay. Now, Telma is telling Kaybobo that when Rooboy came to her as telling her, okay, that he likes her and all of that, that number one, it was too sudden. So she decided to even take her time. And then the things Rooboy began to say in the process, she had to take a step back and was like, is this who Rooboy really is? And when everything did not play in Rooboy's favor, what did Rooboy did? Rooboy decided to twist the game against her. That the other day she heard that Rooboy went towards the kitchen and was crying, and the housemates had to gather around asking her what is it, and he kept lamenting. What did he do to Thelma Lawson? That Thelma is treating him this way. That Thelma is talking to him in this rude manner. Well, Kaybobo then told Thelma that maybe he's crying for the housemate to come talk to you. Thelma said, hell no, he wasn't doing that. That number one, these housemates that gathered around him are people she doesn't talk to, or people that do not even talk to her in the house. Number two, she was already asleep when all of this was happening. That, she goes to bed very early. So why would you do that when she's already sleeping? Number three, that these people that went to gather around him never came to her, even after all of that drama, to tell her, oh, see what Rooboy complained to us about. That, do you know what this guy is trying to do? That he's trying to play a script, exactly that script he made mention of, that paid off for Lekon. That he wasn't just trying to gather pity from the housemates, that he was doing that to gather pity from viewers, that he knows that that kitchen is a very strategic place, and the housemates gathering around towards it, definitely the camera will be there at that point. So while this was happening, remember this gist I'm telling you now, let's move to Rooboy. So while Thelma and Kaybobo was having this conversation, Koyin and Faith, we are having a conversation about Joanna house and all of that, which I'll talk in another video, so I do not divert this topic. So now, Faith then asked Koyin from their conversation they were having earlier on, that so far in this house, do you feel you've changed? Have this house changed you? Do you feel there's something in you that this house changed? And Koyin said no, that if there is anything, he feel the house taught him lessons on how people talk, how people think, how people behave, how people can be intentionally stupid. And Rooboy, on hearing that, jumped in and joined Koyin and Faith's conversation. Remember I told you they were having another type of conversation, which will come up in another video. Just turn on your post notification bell, okay? Because it's quite an interesting one too. So now Rooboy joins and tells Faith that if there is anything this house has taught him, you know how Rooboy talks, is that people want you to behave a certain way. People want you to talk a certain way. People want you to act a certain way, which him, Rooboy, is not going to do. And at that, Faith was like, okay, what are you trying to say? And Rooboy began to, let me just say, began to report Thelma to Faith and Koyin. So Rooboy then turned to Faith, telling Faith, imagine Thelma calling me Agbero. The same Telma that I will help take her luggage in after every eviction is calling me Agbero. That when this whole thing started, he knew that there was an underlying issue going on between him and Thelma. So he was avoiding Thelma with everything in him. So now when they lost that wager, that he knows that Thelma is very good at putting blames, and their team members were already beginning to complain, but he decided not to complain. He decided to just step aside so as not to say something that would trigger Thelma to go off on him. So what happened, that only for on Sunday midday now came where he was telling him, oh, say Thelma don't enter you. And he was like, why would Thelma enter me? What's going on? And Thelma, on hearing his voice, now went off, calling him Agbero, telling him you are a dirty thing, that is this the person my son will settle for, as a father figure or something? No, that it can't work. Rooboy now told them that all and everything Thelma said to him was coming from a place of hate and jealousy. That Thelma does not even want to see him in this house. Thelma does not want to see him in this show. Thelma does not even want to see him win the money or anything good to happen to him on this show. Because that if had it been Thelma doesn't hate him, that even if they have a problem, an argument, that there are things Thelma will not open her mouth to say to him. And Koyin said, yes. Koyin now said that if someone respects you or likes you, if you people are arguing, highest thing, the person will just be mute or say things that are not essential. They won't say sensitive things that will really get to you. Rooboy even took it more personal, telling them that Thelma Lawson should go meet her cis girls and cis boys, those she can control. That here he's not going to change for anybody. He will be Rooboy. That's Thelma saying that he makes noise, he's lousy, he's this. Meanwhile, Telma was telling Kaybobo that the first day she told Rooboy that he makes noise, that being that Rooboy is a hype man, this is what you do as a career, that he wasn't supposed to be angry because this is your job. So why did that word get to Rooboy? Anyways, Rooboy now said that, okay, now that Thelma Lawson said that she's not in here to make friends, how did she come up with what she wrote for Joanna during this Aquafina task? Shebi, you said you're not here to make friends. So why did you write a epistle about Joanna, telling Joanna about friendship and all of that, but you said you're not here to make friends? What made this conversation even funny to me was that both Telma and Rooboy were complaining at the same time. Like Telma was telling Kaybobo how Rooboy, how she'll be talking with Otega, and Rooboy will just come in, barge in, sit in between. And even when she tries to create that boundary, Rooboy will still pretend not to see that she's creating that boundary. He was just doing it anyhow. And Rude Boy, on the other side of the garden, was complaining to Faith and Koyin. I know had it been Faith was still active because at that point Faith was beginning to feel sleepy. I wanted to go inside. Rude Boy could have spent this whole night talking about, or let me say early morning, because it's actually early morning, early hours of the morning that this happened. He could have spent the whole day talking about Telma Lawson and he won't even get tired. Now, in my own opinion, I do not feel this Thelma versus Rooboy thing is similar to Lekon and Erika's scripts. I think one thing about this show is, as a housemate, if you watch this show too much before coming on it, you will mess, as in, you will mess with your head. You will keep trying to calculate people's strategy, people's game, what Big Brother is up to. I think to enjoy it, you don't even need to be a constant viewer of the show, like people like Faith. Faith said coming in here, he didn't even know that something like sponsor task existed. And look at him doing well, although he struggled normal thing earlier days of the show. In fact, he said that he even took leave of absence, that he might, go out of the house and go back to work, clock in back and continue his life. Anyways, guys, this is just my own personal opinion, but I do not feel and I do not think Rooboy is trying to play the whole Lekona and Erika script again. But maybe you guys are saying what I'm not saying. I would like to read your honest opinion regarding this whole Rooboy versus Thelma. Okay, please, if you enjoyed watching this, please do well to like this video, comment, subscribe, share, and turn on your post notification bell as well. I will see you in the next video.
Whatever I was supposed to hear, and now I say here. Yeah, you just want to position yourself there. Immediately I changed seats. He was like, oh, I thought you were sitting here. And I'm like, how? And he was like, never mind. There's something I say that he doesn't like, that I always call him